They broke into Mrs. Alvarez's shop at 2:17 a.m. That was the time. I glanced at the microwave when I heard the first crash of glass. It was the third time this month. Same punks, same blue hoodie, same broken window. I reached for the Glock 19. I hadn't touched since Kandahar. People like me are tired, gray-haired. In government, forgotten aren't supposed to get involved anymore. We're supposed to play chess in the park, watch the Weather Channel, and wait for the next VA appointment to be canceled. But that night, something in me refused to stay seated. I had made a promise when I moved into this block 12 years ago. I don't interfere unless it gets personal. And last night they made it personal. Mrs. Alvarez had been feeding the neighborhood since 1991. She made sandwiches for the local kids when their parents disappeared or drank too much to care. She once sewed up a stab wound on a gang kid and never asked for anything in return. You don't touch people like her. You don't mess with the quiet strength that holds a place like this together. But these boys, these lost, loud, reckless boys, they didn't care about lines. I was about to remind them why men like me still draw them. Asterisk, they say, war never leaves you, but I left it. I left it in the heat-blasted mountains of Afghanistan. It's buried under 10 years of therapy sessions and an unopened box of medals. I kept under my bed like some haunted treasure chest. I moved to a quiet street in Cleveland's East Side after I retired. Not fancy, not safe either, but it had a soul. Old shop owners, single mothers, ex-cons trying to stay clean. We weren't perfect, but we watched each other's backs until the noise came back. It started with the sirens, then the graffiti, then the broken windows and the laughter. The kind of laughter that doesn't come from joy, but from power young wild. Unpunished power. A group of kids, no older than 20, started claiming the block. Blue hoodies, red laces, tattoos on necks that meant they belonged to something. Hollow, but dangerous. They weren't a gang in the old sense. No leadership. Just chaos and sneakers. I let it go for a while. Told myself I was too old. Told myself I had done enough. But when I saw them drag old Mr. Klein out of his car and beat him because he honked at them, stood on my porch, my fists clenched behind my back. Still, I didn't move. Not until they touched Mrs. Alvarez. That night, I loaded the Glock 19, cleaned it twice. It's not because it needed it, but because my hands needed something to do. Then I slid the leather holster into the back of my jeans and stepped outside. No plan, just purpose. Asterisk, they came back the next night. Same hour. Same laugh echoing between the buildings like a challenge. This time they didn't just break her window. They kicked in her door. I watched from across the street as one of them shoved the old register to the ground. Another started filming on his phone, narrating the destruction like it was a video game. I walked across the street slowly. Calm, no. Sudden movements. It's just a shadow from another era walking toward a storm. Hey, I said. They turned, confused. One of them laughed. He had a scar across his cheek and a fake gold chain around his neck. I guessed he was the leader, or at least the loudest. Ain't you lost, old man? No, I said, but you are. He stepped forward. Tried to tower over me. You're not going to do anything. Looked him in the eyes. You think age makes me soft, but I've buried boys twice your size and quieter than you. He reached into his WAISTBA and... Bad choice. I moved faster than he expected. Grabbed his wrist, twisted it until his eyes went wide with pain, then slammed his head into the glass countertop. The others froze. You want to be tough? Be tough somewhere else, I growled. They scattered all but one, the smallest. He stared at me, fear fighting with pride in his young eyes. He looked like someone who hadn't yet decided who he wanted to be. Go home, I told him, before the street eats you alive. He nodded and ran. Asterisk. I knew it wouldn't end there. Kids like that don't walk away forever. They regroup.
Oh.
They remember too. Nights later, they came for me. It was around midnight. I was in bed when I heard the first bottle break against my front door, and the second. Then fire.Molo 2Vs. I rolled out of bed, grabbed the fire extinguisher from the kitchen, and ran to the front. The porch was lit up in flames. Put it out fast and hard, coughing through the smoke. Then I saw them. 3 of them across the street. Watching, laughing, one of them holding a phone. Recording it all. They didn't expect me to charge, but I did. I sprinted barefoot across the street, dodged a trash can they threw at me, and tackled the one holding the phone to the ground. He fought like a cat, but he was weak. Soft muscle, Jim's strength. No pain memory. Get off me, he screamed. You want to burn my house down? Now you're going to listen. I dragged him to his feet. The others ran, left him behind. Tell your friends. This, I said, gripping his hoodie. I'm not afraid of your fire. I've seen worse. I've smelled worse. I've crawled through it to drag men out. And I'll do it again if I have to. I let him go. He ran. But this time, they didn't come back. Not right away. Asterisk, 2 days later, a cruiser parked outside my house. Officer Breck stepped out. He used to be a Marine. I knew the gate. You were in Kandahar, right? He said. Yeah. Nodded. Heard about what happened? Some of us still remember what men like you did. Some of you? I asked. He looked down. City's changing. We're not supposed to encourage vigilantes, even if they're doing our job better than we are. Didn't reply. He handed me a card. This has my cell. You see them again? Call me. But try not to kill anyone. No promises. We shared a laugh. A real one. Sometimes war leaves a man. Sometimes it just changes uniforms. Asterisk, a week passed. Then 2. No fire, no graffiti, no broken glass. But one day, the boy who hadn't run, the youngest one, came back. He stood across the street from my porch, hands in his pockets. You gonna shoot me? He asked. Not today. He walked over slowly, sat on the steps. Didn't like what they did to her, he said. Then why'd you stand there? I didn't know what else to do. You do now? He nodded. I handed him a broom. Want to be a man? Start by fixing what you helped break. He took it. Started sweeping. That was the day I realized the war wasn't just against punks. It was against forgetting. Against letting the next generation grow up thinking no one cared. Asterisk. Now, every Saturday, that boy, his name's Marcus, helps me clean the front yards on our block. He fixed Mrs. Alvarez's sign with wood from his uncle's shop. The others? Haven't seen them since. Word travels fast when old men fight back. I'm still not a hero. Just a man who saw too much to pretend anymore. But the block, it remembers. It remembers what it feels like to be defended, to be worth fighting for. And I remember, too, that even when you're done with the war might not be done with you. But sometimes, just sometimes, you win.